In Lagos State, residents are now dealing with a 25-day planned power outage announced by the Eko Electricity Distribution Company, or EKDC. Well, the outage, which began on Monday, will last until Thursday, August 21, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time daily. In a notice shared via its official X handle, EKEDC says the outage is necessary to enable the Transmission Company of Nigeria to carry out critical maintenance on the Omotosho Ikeja West 330 kV transmission line. The DISCOs warn customers to prepare for intermittent power supply and load shedding throughout the period. Although specific areas were not listed, all consumers within the Eko DISCO network are urged to make alternative power arrangements and plan accordingly. And to address the power outage announced by the Eko Electricity Distribution Company set to affect parts of Lagos and surrounding areas, I'm now joined by Ikeja Ajiboye, who is the Executive Director of the Transmission Service Provider TCN. That's the Transmission Company of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Good evening, madam, and good evening, viewer.
Thank you very much. So let's begin by asking you if this has commenced in earnest, as announced by EKDC. It was supposed to commence on Monday all through to August 21. If that has happened, can you confirm and tell us how serious the fault is that you're trying to repair?
It has started yesterday, but we need to clarify something is not a fault, it's an upgrade that we are trying to do.
Okay.
The upgrade was well communicated, planned, and discussed with all stakeholders, including Eko and Ikeja Electric, because we know they will be mostly affected. But it's unfortunate that they are declaring total blackout when we never promised them that. We only promised that there might be need for reduction of power to Lagos, which they are very averse and know, because it was thoroughly discussed by the regulator, by the NISO, the manager of the grid. So when we saw it, we were shocked, because we never expected such to create that an alarm and panic in the society. So uncalled for, because we have evaluated it, rigorously planned for it, and believe that we will not disrupt power supply to Lagos. Evidently, you can see from the average daily broadcast, Eko did not do bad yesterday. On 27th, a day before, at the average they were doing was 495 megawatt hour. On the day we were talking about, it went down to 448. Ikeja was doing 512 on average, whereas Ikeja did 517 on the day. It's evident that this did not correlate with the flashing they gave it. So it's unfortunate, because we discussed it, as I have told you, and the purpose of this particular maintenance, the upgrade we are doing, is the replacement of the optic fiber on the tower with OPGW to be able to have seamless transmission of data for the national control, that is SCADA acquisition, so that we can see and make visible all participants in the NERC market at a glow from the central. This will help us to be able to manage the grid, to be able to operate it efficiently, to be able to see globally what is happening in every corner of Nigeria on the grid. That is the purpose of the upgrade. Okay.
Well, because some of us might not understand the technical terms you have just used. So in other words, in simple terms, are we upgrading our national grid finally? Is that what you're doing with this Omotosho Ikeja?
It is the communication aspect of it, the SCADA, to be able to acquire data. This is part of the upgrade, to be able to run seamlessly. You don't need
no more collapse?
Yeah, it will aid reliability of the grid.
Okay. Okay, so you make it sound like this was a communication gap. Perhaps Eko DISCO did not get what this was all about.
They got it.
They got it. So why would they now misinform the public?
That is what is not clear to us.
Have you reached out to them?
We have reached out to them, but what they told us in the meeting yesterday, that they never sent this out.
But it's right there on their official X handle. We just pull that up.
Because of the alarming rate of it, a meeting was called about 4:30 yesterday between all market participants. NISO, TCN, Eko, and all of us were called by the regulator. And we discussed this, that why will you send this type of message? This is not what we discussed in our meeting. But the person that represented them said, maybe it's the press that twisted, it's not them that sent it out.
Okay, so while this maintenance is ongoing, are you saying absolutely that there will be no downtime whatsoever? And if there will be downtime, what then are we looking at? Are we looking at partial? And what areas? How does it affect hospitals, markets, homes?
It won't affect them.
There will be no downtime at all?
No downtime at all, because we have done it. This is the second day now. We have restored the supply, that particular line. Let me tell you how we operate. In Lagos axis alone, we have about 5 or 6 lines entering Lagos. We have from Osogbo, that is entering Lagos, through Ikeja West, that is Ajiboye. We have another line coming from Ayede, that is Ibadan, to Olorun-Sogo. We have 2 lines there, also going to Ikeja West. And we have another line coming from Egbin. Egbin. We have another line coming from Egbin, going straight to Ikeja West. We have another 2 lines going from Egbin to Okearo to Ikeja West. So we have these lines around. The lines we are taking out are the lines coming from Benin, that is Egbin Benin. We are working on Omotosho Ikeja West. They are on the same tower. What you need to do is to be able to protect the life of people working by switching off the circuits. We want to do it cold. We call this cold and live. Live will take more time. That is, we will not switch off the supply, and it's dangerous. But we realize that if we want to go that trend, we might take the next 2 months doing this work. And in the instance we are doing it, anything can happen. There will be loss of that line, and that one can cause instability. So we decided to make sure we prepare for it. To be able to augment this, NCC gave more allocation to the generation. Egbin is here. Egbin was asked to take up the supply to about 743 megawatts, which they were doing this morning at 6 a.m. So also, Olorun-Sogo went up to 251. And we have another smaller generation in that area, which is Paras. It went to 109.5 megawatts. And we have another smaller generation, which is Taupes. It went to 18.9 megawatts. So concentrated in the morning, as at 6 a.m., we have 1,246.5 megawatts in that axis, which is enough capacity for them to be able to transmit. By 12 noon, when the work was at peak, we now had about 1,080 megawatts on the grid. So they are doing well, and they did well throughout today. Lagosha can attest to it, that they didn't feel the impact, because we knew from the planning we did where we took the outage, we took it where we can draw bulk supply about 150 megawatt, which affected some industry in some axes of Lagos. That was what we did.
When you say Lagosians would not feel the impact, does that mean that the regular, usual, non-consistent 24 hours light was what we had? Not an improvement, not a drop?
Yes. Because
we don't have regular power supply, as you know, in this country.
It depends on this relative.
If I'm not on band A, but even band A customers will tell you that they don't have that 20 hours plus.
They have it on average.
On average.
Okay.
Okay, but what you are saying is that Lagos residents would not be able to tell the difference
they will not,
at all.
and they are not being able to say this is day 2.
This is day 2. So is this going to be for that trend? Did EDC at least get the duration right? Is it for 25 days?
Yes, it's for 25 days.
And at the end of this, we will see a better national grid on the Omotosho Ikeja axis.
It's not only that axis, it's a progressive work.
We have
done in so many areas. Okay. But this is only because of the bulk power coming from the Niger Delta to Lagos that made you to feel the impact. So we have another area. It's a progressive work we are doing. We are going to deliver this CADA in the next 12 months. So it's going to take time, but not going to be making noise this way because of the bulk and the capacity of Lagos. We have other area we have worked. It's not known, but because of the bulk of power going to Lagos, that is why we have to do this special planning to make sure nothing goes wrong. Okay.
25 days, we are holding you to that, nothing more. And
on that
axis,
yes,
Lagosians will not feel the impact because their power will not drop. But will it increase? If it doesn't drop, will it at least increase because you are upgrading the system?
What I'm upgrading now, what we are upgrading now, is the SCADA system.
It doesn't affect power supply.
Reliability is what we are talking about now, and the coordination. Okay. It will be highly improved now. Okay. You might not have the sudden dip or loss of supply. So when you get the supply, you will see that it's consistent and the quality is okay.
We are holding TCN to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olu.